What's up, gamers? Today I'm doing a quick video you didn't ask for about Made in Piss.
Yeah, we're gonna be ranting about
We're gonna be
a
ranting
certain
about
word I cannot say on YouTube.
We're gonna be ranting about Sakushi's. Is this Sakushi? Did he make this, or am I thinking of a different author?
I have no idea.
Well, I didn't do much research or prepare for this particularly well. So I guess I should probably start this with a disclaimer. Yes, it is Sakushi. So I should start this with a disclaimer and say that people who sub to my channel already know I'm like into I'm into Berserk. I'm into Old Boy. I'm into, like the boys. Like we cover a lot of weird fucking shit on this channel. And the fact that even I'm willing to sit through like Elfen Lied is kind of a sign that like weird stuff that like pushes boundaries does not bother me. So I need to make it as clear as I can for Made in Abyss fans before we do this whole thing that despite my issues with this show, like if you like this series, that I don't think that has any, I don't think there's anything wrong with you for that. I don't think it's, bad to enjoy this series as long as you can acknowledge some of the issues with it.
Yes, as long as you acknowledge that some of the gross stuff is pretty gross and not justify it.
Yeah, like and also I can consciously understand that there is a narrative purpose for a lot of the things in this series, but I just need to make this clear, like you are not a bad person for enjoying Made in Abyss. Okay, I like things that are weird in similar ways, like Berserk is filled to the brim with rape, doesn't mean that I condone that sort of thing. So I don't want anybody to get like super upset at this video. This is just something that I've been meaning to talk about for a while and haven't really been able to. I made like a couple of Made in Abyss videos. I talked about season 1 and I talked about the movie, and both of those videos did super well. So like, yeah, honestly, like, I really don't know how to feel about this series, is the thing. I have kind of a long history with it. And
I have a bit of a stance to make. Okay, I think that fucked up shit has its place and its narrative purpose in media, but there is a very big line that you have to toe with this.
Yeah, so I started on, or I first saw Made in Abyss, or it was first on my radar, back when I was like, when did this come out? Like in 2017?
I think it was 2017 to 2018.
Somewhere around there. I'm pretty sure I watched it around that time, like when it first came out, and so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was like completely like blown away by it, but that was because I think at the time I was still a minor. So I didn't think a lot. I didn't think too deeply about that sort of stuff.
You didn't think.
And then when the movie came out, I didn't watch it. I didn't bother because I was like, I'm just gonna wait till it gets like a season 2 and then I'll watch the movie. So I watched season 1 again when season 2 had finally dropped. It had been like 5 years by this point, and it came, like, when it had come out, I was actually kind of excited for it because I remembered liking season 1 so much. So I rewatched season 1 and I still enjoyed it kind of, but there were some I had noticed, like, oh yeah, right, this is fucking weird. This is like really bizarre.
Oh wait, yeah. This is fucked up. Oh, this is fucked up. That wasn't needed.
Oh yeah, that little thing right there. That kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was a little out of pocket.
But I still was able to enjoy it. I watched the movie. I thought it was also weird, but I fucking loved it. And then I started on season 2, and to be honest, I was a little bit underwhelmed. So I think maybe we should start with kind of like what our thoughts on season 1 is, because I actually had to suffer through this again because Salt wanted to watch it with me. And I do remember telling you, like, I think you're gonna regret this decision. but you
Yeah, and I was like,
still...
nah, we'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. And then the Homelander gif.
Yeah, the fucking theater, like, posted in the chat. And this experience was, watching his reaction to it at least was fun. But you know, I think what the best way to describe this series is that it's something that I will probably continue to watch out of morbid curiosity, but I will only watch it once. I'm not doing any more of this rewatch shit anymore. I don't intend to watch season 1, the movie, or season 2 ever again.
Definitely not season 2. Oh God, no.
But it's something to behold, I think, is the best way to describe it. Is like, it's really something to just, it's like, there's nothing quite like it. And I am constantly just pushing forward just purely out of morbid curiosity to see how much, like, further we can go. So I guess we should talk about what it's about and just season 1 and our thoughts on that first. So, what is this show about?
Okay, it is about this there's this area in the middle of the sea that's an island, and it has a little gigantic hole in the middle called the Abyss.
Yeah, you know, this tiny little, not a very big deal, like, massive fucking hole in the ground that everybody has built this civilization around and have built a whole culture around exploring. So the way it works is, like, it's kind of like the ocean, like when you're underwater, where the deeper down you go, the worse it gets. And then if you're at a certain level and then you shoot up too quickly, you get affected. In the case of the ocean, it's the bends, where I don't know quite what the process is, but the sudden change in oxygen levels, like, fucks you up.
And water pressure too.
I do think that might have been like a source of inspiration for this concept, because it's a really cool concept. But in the case of the Abyss, what happens is you can go down just fine, but if you rise up, you get hit with the curse of the Abyss. And there's like several layers. The first few layers, you just get a little bit sick. But as things go down, you start to hallucinate, until eventually you get to the very bottom. And if you rise up too quick, you become a fucking human blob.
And then in another layer, you just explode.
Yeah, like a Dr. Manhattan, like, just pop.
Yeah.
What were you going to say earlier before I...
Okay, I was also going to say the Abyss sort of works like Dante's Inferno a bit.
Yeah, somewhat. I think that might have also been the blueprint for this, because the layers seem to sort of echo some of the layers of hell in Dante's Inferno. So there is some, like, Dante's Inferno type, like, aesthetic to it. It's not like 1-to-1, but it is, you know, like...
It's just more subtle. It's more subtle.
Yeah. So, basically you have this girl, this really autistic girl who loves exploring this abyss, but she's like, she goes to this school, and it's a very kind of, honestly, like, abusive orphanage that they literally, like, the students have their desks, like, up on the wall, like decorations. It's like they practically use them as tools, and they're like tools up on a wall, which I thought was
that's like seems extremely impractical and kind of a ginormous safety hazard.
And they do a lot of really shitty things. I mean, the main character, Rico, I think she sleeps in, like, a torture chamber. Like, her bedroom's a torture chamber.
What was that about?
Anytime the students act out or break the rules, they string them up naked in front of everybody. Which is at first mentioned as a joke, but then you actually see it happen to Rico after she acts up.
Oh, yeah, and it's just like, okay, that's a little out of pocket, but okay.
That is one thing that they kind of get out of the way pretty fast, is that the humor, because it is kind of passed off a little bit as a joke, but the humor is very out of pocket, and that's because Sakushi really, really likes to push boundaries, and as you get through the series, it's going to get worse and worse, but I think the thing that I found a little bit interesting about this school is that at the very start, for these first few episodes, it is just kind of passed off as a joke. It's passed off as kind of normal. But I think that in some ways, Made in Abyss is aware that this is weird and that these people are not like particularly good people. That's something Rico has to grapple with as she descends into the abyss.
Yeah, it's kind of more like a child mindset, sort of like, oh, this ain't all that bad. But then, like, as you get further into it, it's like, oh, now that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. So, and I think that it's because it's so normalized that the characters themselves don't question it when, you as the viewer are like, what the hell is wrong with this orphanage? Why are they stringing students up? Like, what they're doing is basically abuse. They're endangering their students and all that. And I think
Orphans
that is on
too,
purpose.
by the way.
Yeah, taking advantage of, like, orphaned children. So, one day Rico finds this robot named Reg. He's like... He's kind of the shonen protagonist of this series. He's I think he gets hit with amnesia, but it isn't like a bad take on amnesia plots, I'm gonna be honest. Like, in his case, he's like a robot. And he's got robot superpowers, and he was found in the abyss.
Yeah, and then like you see like yeah, oh wait, no, I can't mention that yet. Like, okay, so Rico, right?
Yes, Rico is the girl, Reg is the boy.
Yeah, so like Rico finds this guy, finds Reg. he brings Reg back to the orphanage and he tries to wake him up. And apparently like one way was to like an electric chair.
Oh yeah,
and
just,
it worked.
Just sitting there in her bedroom, which I thought was really like it's honestly the first few episodes I actually appreciate more now knowing the things that happen later on.
Yeah, like the first few episodes, they're cute. They're cute. There's like
it's like a fantasy slice of life type thing. Basically, like when Rico finds this thing, she takes him back, and then she realizes like, okay, we need to like give you an identity and make you an actual official student here, because if I tell them that you're a robot I found from the abyss, they're gonna like dissect you and do all this. So she, he applies as a student, and then just for a little bit it's like slice of life. It's just the day-to-day experiences of these children in this school and the wacky antics they get up to, and it's a little bit short-lived. It's only the first few episodes where this is what happens.
Yeah, and then after that it is all downhill from here. All downhill.
So something that should be important, when we did the Heavenly Delusion review, which is probably not going to be up when this is up, I think this might actually come out sooner. But when we did the Heavenly Delusion review, we compared the series Heavenly Delusion to this a lot, because it's the same dynamic of a boy and a girl traveling through a mysterious world. And I do think Heavenly Delusion does this a lot better, but the beating heart of Made in Abyss's appeal is the dynamic between Rico and Reg. They're kind of the core to the whole thing. And one of the interesting things as well is that both of them were born in the abyss. Reg is found in the abyss as an ancient relic, like a robot thing. And then Rico, apparently, her mother was like this powerful traveler. She's kind of a baddie too. You should post a gif of her mom.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and find a gif.
But basically her mother is like the Gojo of this universe, where she's just this mysterious badass that's like everybody reveres her as one of the goats of all time. They look at her, she's so cute.
Yeah, I love her.
And she's just one of the goats of all time. And she had her baby in the abyss, and that baby was Rico. And because of it, Rico's eyesight is really shot and just weird.
Yeah, and I also think it affected her thinking patterns, because she's a bit
she's a fucking idiot.
Okay, I forgot to mention this. Okay, but like I remember them mentioning like, oh yeah, I remember her mentioning like, oh yeah, I dumped like burning coals in Reg's mouth once. Like, what? What? Like, what if Reg was a human? You just did that automatically?
So yeah, like, that's one thing we learn already, is that Reg, he's a little bit, I don't know quite how to describe his personality. He's very...
I think he's just kind of there.
That is kind of like, he is a little bit bland, but I think that is part of like him being a robot. He's learning a lot about like life.
And to be fair, he also has amnesia, so.
And you know, he's like the typical shonen protagonist. But he's not without empathy. He cares a lot for Rico. And Rico is really like shameless and stupid and dumb and impulsive, but she's also very knowledgeable about the Abyss. And so with her knowledge and Reg's physical ability, they escape from this orphanage, because the orphanage is never ever going to let them, you know, go out.
I would also leave the orphanage, honestly.
And so they break out and they descend into the Abyss. Now, there were some other students at the orphanage. There's not much really to say about them. There's like some plot thread later about how there's like this this curse where people die on their birthdays. Like a lot of kids, once they reach a certain age, die on their birthdays. And one of the kids, it's like his birthday, and he starts feeling sick, and it's like the curse is about to get him, but then they move him away from the Abyss, and then suddenly he's fine. And when that came up, all I could think is like, leave this place. Get the hell out of here, dude. Like,
it is. Dang it! I think the orphanage itself is like, dang it, like a layer of the Abyss. It's just bad. It's just bad.
Yeah, but it's like the Abyss itself is so mysterious and terrifying. Like you can't really it's so hard to comprehend how it works, or like why it is the way that it is. There's so little known about it.
It's more like a force of nature kind of thing. Like that's what's terrifying about it.
And I think like this series makes me think a lot of this like documentary that I watched about Mount Everest and the people that travel on Mount Everest. And it's basically about our desire for knowledge to the point that we will kill ourselves just to understand something. Like, just to reach the peak of Mount Everest, or in this case, try to reach the bottom of the Abyss. The funny thing is that... go ahead.
Yeah, that's going to be like the same thing with like the ocean, because we've only discovered like 5% of it.
And we'll keep trying until we fucking die out as a species.
Yeah.
But basically, like, what I think is interesting too is the manga he did before this. I don't remember what it was called, but it was about an ascension to like heaven. It was like rising up. And it didn't do well at all. So he decided to do the opposite now, into a descent into hell. Basically, is what he's
yeah, this one. That's kind of what Dante's Inferno suffered from. Like, everybody knows Inferno, nobody knows anything else.
So I guess we should talk about this layer by layer.
Yeah.
Layer 1, the problem really, and this is kind of my first problem with this, is that the first season, the pacing is a little too fast.
Yeah.
Because
they kind of go through like each layer by like each episode.
Yeah, like they just breeze through. I want to say like the first, what is it, like 5 layers or so, 4 layers?
Yeah, exactly.
Just like that. But
yeah, the first can I explain the first layer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so like the first layer is kind of tame. There's like a bunch of like, it's more like the one everybody can go down to. Like, it's the least dangerous out of all of them.
So one thing I was gonna say earlier that the first layer brings to mind is this feels like a video game concept, and in fact, it did become a video game from the creators.
It looks awful.
For the creators of Danganronpa, it became a video game. It wasn't a very good video game. But that's neither here nor there. This did become a video game, though. However, it like I remember when it first came out, all I could think to myself was like, this would make a fire Metroidvania, like just playing as like Reg and like grappling around, and like I thought the concept would be awesome, and it just felt like it wouldn't really work all that well as an anime, because the world building feels so video game-esque. But that changes over the course of the show. Anyway, proceed. How is the first layer?
Okay, from memory, what I remember is it's the most tame out of all the layers.
Yeah, it's like pretty
Nothing really much.
It's pretty much just like a grass, like, field.
Yeah, full of, I think it's like full of relics and all that, like ancient stuff.
Yeah, there's
like, not really
like,
that many monsters there, but I think like it was mentioned like one of the monsters from like the lower layers, basically like went up there once.
Yeah, they don't see a lot of crazy stuff, but sometimes, you know, monsters will venture up. None of the ones from the lower levels. But, you know, like, about the most ominous thing you're gonna find on this is, like, praying corpses, like skeletons in a praying position. Which, you know, Rico is completely desensitized to, which kind of adds to what I was saying earlier about how this orphanage is so weird to the students and nobody ever says anything about it. Everybody just kind of runs with it.
Yeah, this whole, like, town just does not say anything about this abusive orphanage.
And it's because Rico was born in the Abyss, it's almost like she's kind of just embraced all of the dark shit in life. She's just kind of desensitized to it. It's normal to her.
This shit ain't nothing to me, man.
Literally, like Rico Dracula flow out here. Like, so the second layer is the
Oh wait, yeah. Yeah, it's like a bunch of upside down trees.
Yeah, it's like the Forest of Temptation, which again like reinforces that whole Metroidvania, because this is an Ori ass map. Like,
yeah, this is very Ori inspired.
Blind Forest. But essentially, like, it's like really windy. I think the wind like blows upward. It's hard to navigate, and there are these like angry monkeys that were kind of funny. I think what is interesting.
Yeah, I remember those.
We meet a few of the monsters. Like, I think in the first layer we meet this kind of creepy ass monster. It's like a corpse weeper or something like that. That it'll eat people, or it'll eat whatever. It eats its victims, and then it mimics their cries for when they die, in order to summon more. And
yeah. Which is very terrifying, actually.
Oh yeah, and it scares the shit out of Reg. He like has a nightmare about it afterwards. I think that's one thing too, is like, because that whole moment, like Rico, for some reason becomes naked or something, and that sort of brings into question the whole, like, you know, the symbolic purpose of like all this weird, like, because they're children. They look like children. They are children.
Yeah.
And I've seen people, this, you know, I want to talk a little bit about that, because it's like, I've seen people talk about that scene where Rico is finally in the Abyss. They finally descended into the Abyss, and she's naked. And basically the symbolic purpose of that is that she's free. She's finally free from this orphanage. She's finally pursuing what she wants to pursue and do what she wants to do. And she's also very shameless around Reg, because he's a robot. She doesn't really see him as a person, so she doesn't really think too much about, fuck you. Fuck you.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't really think too deeply about, you know, like, she's very shameless around him, very comfortable around him. Even though he still sees her as like a person, and he still sees himself as a person. He experiences attraction. They never really explain how the robot thing works, really. They've even explained...
Yeah, he kind of acts like a human. He's more like a cyborg, if you ask me. Like, because, like, he has skin, like, similar to human, but you can clearly see, like, metal body parts that he has.
Yeah, his fucking Popeye hands and shit like that.
Yeah.
But basically, like... The Corpse Sweeper is the first enemy they fight. They go down to the second layer, and then they start fighting the monkeys. And this is when the environment starts to get a little more treacherous. It starts to fight against them a little bit more. I think I like... The second layer, as far as the first season is concerned, is kind of my favorite stretch of the series. Because that's when one of my favorite characters get introduced. what's her name again?
I can't. One of your favorite characters doesn't know the name.
Well, that shows how much investment I have in this series these days. Uh,
Yeah.
I know that Meryl is the femboy that lives with her.
Uh,
Ozen?
j-
Ozen
yeah, Ozen. Yeah, Ozen.
Yeah, so Ozen is basically our first introduction to the white whistles, which are basically they are the ones, they're the goats. They're the strong ones, the really powerful ones that can survive.
They can
the
deal
abyss.
with anything of the abyss.
Yeah, they're the ones that can descend further and further down because, as we've established, the lower you go, the worse things get, the more dangerous it gets. And Ozen, she's called Ozen the Immovable. And basically, this whole stretch, it reminds me a lot of, if you've seen Soul Eater, the first confrontation with Stein, or like Naruto, the first confrontation with Kakashi. Basically, the tricky teacher trope. The very, like, brutal, like, a teacher that scares its students by pretending he's actually... Oh my god. By pretending he's actually going to fucking kill their students. And so Ozen basically is just super brutal towards Rico and Reg, and immediately puts them on the spot by kicking their ass. And she hits like a truck. Like, this fight is awesome. I just, like, I mean, how did you feel about this part?
It was pretty base, not gonna lie.
It was just, I mean, it was pretty base. It's just child abuse.
Yeah, I mean, it was not based. It was not based.
We do not condone, no. But, no, it was awesome. Like, Rico, I mean, Reg, basically, like, he's nothing compared to this woman. She mops the floor with him. Like, she smashes his head into the ground, stomps on it. At one point, he, like, tries to hit her with his laser, because that's one of the abilities he finds out that he has. He has this massive laser ability.
Like,
it's like a Kamehameha wave, but it has a weakness. And this is where kind of the video game element comes in. It knocks him out. He passes out. And he falls asleep for like 5 minutes.
We should probably mention, like, that's probably like how he got his amnesia, because like he fired a blast at like a monster at one point, and then we just find him like sleeping, and like, oh yeah, he's got amnesia, he's knocked out.
And he tries to hit her with it, but she knocks his hand upward, and it blasts through the ceiling, meaning that the buildup was too strong or too long. And once he wakes up, she basically is like, you guys suck ass, you are not prepared for the abyss. So she puts them to an actual test. We kind of learn a little bit about Ozen, basically that she used to... She knew Rico's mother, and that's partly why she's being so hard on her daughter, because Rico has so much to live up to. Her mother's named Liza, by the way.
Yeah, I think she was the highest ranked white whistle. That's
somewhere
right.
Up there, yeah. She's one of the most powerful. So Rico has a lot to live up to. And Ozen, in some ways, resents Rico, but at the same time, kind of respects her and wants to get the best out of her. That's why she's doing this, like, tough love approach. Because... There was even this, like, creepy thing that I thought was really interesting too, where when Rico was a baby, she had actually died, and then they put her in this, like, tomb thing, and then once she came, it brought her back to life, but once she came out, she started crawling towards the center of the abyss, which was really creepy and dark. And that's the aspect of Made in Abyss I really like, are these, like, mysterious, kind of creepy aspects of the abyss, where it has this kind of eldritch horror element going for it, cosmic horror, whichever you prefer.
Pretty much horror that you cannot understand.
Yeah. And so this whole fight with Ozen, basically afterwards they're put into this test where they have to survive in the abyss for like a few days and figure out strategies, and they do a little bit of that. And then they part ways, and to be honest, this whole stretch, as good as it is, it's a little too short-lived, because the whole farewell felt really, like, bizarrely emotional, and I was like, Bro, I've seen these characters for like 2 episodes. I don't know who the fuck these characters are or why we're so sad that they have
Yeah,
to go.
but I think Ozan just stands out the most because
All the
like
characterization goes to her, yeah. Like,
yeah, and also she's a hot lady, so.
yeah, she kind of bad. Need her jump rope.
And so I guess we got to move on to the third layer now.
Well, I mean, I think maybe we should make mention of like the character designs. I think that is something solid about this.
Oh yeah, yeah. I gotta mention this. I have to mention this. Okay, so there is this one character like later on in the season who is just like really detailed for no reason,
So,
and
yeah,
like we never see her again.
I was just gonna say like the manga is like one of the few manga art style wise that you can compare to Berserk and it would be a valid comparison. Because it is written, like it is drawn with that much attention to detail. The character designs, I think, overall are really solid too. Ozan looks awesome. There's a villain later named Bondrewd who looks fucking amazing. The White Whistles, I think, have some of the best designs in the whole thing.
Yeah, you're gonna notice a bunch of the people that you meet in the Abyss are basically White Whistles.
Yeah, they're the only ones that can get down this far, so of course. But, you know, like, Liza's adorable. I really like her design. The robot kind of looks interesting as, like, a main character. I like his whole, like... I especially love the color. There's so many... Like, he's such a different blend of, like, red and brown and black and all the... Like, it blends together very well. And his, like, helmet and all that... I think it's very, very good. It looks visually stunning, and the anime somehow manages to keep up with the manga. There are points where I noticed that, like, they do rely on CGI, but the CGI is rotoscoped, meaning that it's, like, it's traced and animated as if it were 2D, but it's obviously CGI. And that's something I haven't seen any other anime do. So I think visually this is, like, one of the best-looking shows out there. That being said, the kids look like kids.
Yeah.
They look like children, and so many characters in the series are children.
Yeah. Yep. And the adults are very creepy around them.
Even fucking Ozan, because she's got the little femboy living with her, and she like threatens to string him up naked and all like.
Does the Abyss do something to your mental state or something?
I imagine so. I don't know why. Like, the thing is, it happens too much for this just to be a coincidence or be, like, you know, self-aware. I can tell in some ways Tsukushi is a little too fucking comfortable with this.
Yeah.
And that is, you know, like... How many lines can you cross before, you know, we finally start addressing it? The fans are super defensive, and again, I have to reiterate, like, if you like this series, you like this series. It doesn't, like, you know, that doesn't matter. But, I'm just saying, like, come on. Like, with how often it happens, it gets worse every passing episode. There's stuff later we're going to talk about. We'll talk more about that later, but, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, after the second layer,
they go to the third layer, and I cannot remember what
so
the third layer was like.
The third layer is the Great Fault, and I think this is kind of the first step we get into actually surviving in the Abyss. It's basically just a big white hole that goes directly down, and they have to travel in the walls. It's literally like, I'm in your walls.
Yeah.
And this part was really, really good too, because this is like, basically, throughout the rest of the season, we're reminded of the importance of Rico and Reg and how codependent they are, how much they depend on each other. Because
and yet they literally just met. Because
this is the first time they actually start to get into some trouble. They go on a ship that ended up in the Abyss, and they run into a monster I think it's it's the first monster we ever saw, the one that attacked Rico on the first layer.
Yeah.
And it shows up again, and basically, like, Reg attacks it with his laser, and it runs away, and now he's out, meaning that Rico has to start traveling through this layer by herself. And this part was really, really good. She kind of has, like, a moment of doubt, like, I don't know if I can do this, because she ends up in the belly of this monster. She's having to drag this robot body with her, and she cuts her way out of the side of the monster, but now she's covered in the monster's innards, and now there's these little creatures that think she's food, because the monster gives off pheromones to attract those creatures, and they're attacking her. You know, she's getting just, you know, shit on this whole, like, stretch.
Yeah, and also, I guess it's also just because, like, we've also just seen Rico with other people when she has gone to the abyss multiple times, and now she's just all alone.
So,
all right.
and yeah, and, like, it's a good moment. It develops Rico quite a bit, especially because there's this part where she has to ascend in order to go lower. And it's kind of this contradiction of, like, now the abyss has put her in a position where she can't turn back. She literally has to rise forward, like, move forward, even though she starts hallucinating and seeing everybody telling her, like, hey, go home. Like, stop this. You don't have to do this. Like, go home. And it's a very, like, meaningful moment. But she pushes through and she makes it to the light at the end of the tunnel. And that is when Reg finally wakes up. The monster shows up again and he kills it. They've got this, like, weapon that I think Ozen gave them that she said, like, hey, you can't rely on your cannon. Use this, but don't use it all the time. So he uses it, he kills the monster. And basically that's the first thing they learn is, like, they're depending on each other. And I think I thought it was a really, really good, like, one of the strongest episodes in the season, at least as far as Rico's characterization is concerned. It made her a little more interesting than just being the stupid girl.
Yeah, it shows that, oh, she can actually be brave, she can actually pull through. Oh, and, like, you're actually, like, confident that, oh, she can probably get down through this thing.
Yeah.
She can probably get through the abyss.
And of course, now that we've established how important Reg is and how, you know, hard it is for Rico to thrive without Reg, the only natural next step is to establish how important Rico is and how up a creek without a paddle Reg would be without her. And that is what leads to the fourth layer, the goblets of giants. And this is actually kind of the what's
the turning point for the check, kind of like the tone.
This is the checkpoint for everybody. This is the part where it's like you're probably gonna drop it around this point if you can't handle this shit.
Because like it is like you can probably like say like it is a different like the first 3 episodes feel like a completely different show compared to what happens later.
And this part, like, I mean, up until this point, you know, it dabbled a little bit into the dark shit. I think this was like episode 6 or 7 or somewhere. I don't know. But this is the one where it's like these giant bowls of water. And they're these like floating islands. And like I said, visually the spectacle is just absolutely astounding in this.
Yeah, I'm looking at like manga panels. Like the anime does look good, but like the manga looks honestly superior. Like there is like a lot of scale in the manga.
And the thing is, you're never going to be able to put this manga to anime properly. I think the anime, the fact that it can keep up at all is impressive to me. That, like, this is like the type of shit you should see in a Berserk adaptation, in my opinion. But instead, we're getting Berserk 2016, and I'm not mad about that at all. Anyway.
Yeah, definitely not mad. Definitely not coping.
But they run into this, probably one of the fucking coolest monsters ever. It's like this, it looks like it's wearing a mask. It's got this, like, big red face with a bunch of holes in the face, and it's got all these, like, spikes all over it. It's kind of like a porcupine. But
like more dangerous and this poisonous.
This like yeah, it's got poison that is very, very deadly. And Reg, you know, thinking he's like tough shit, thinking he's like a robot, gets his ass beat by one of these things because like the little metal shield he got, it pierces through it with ease. it can pretty much tear up Reg. It's actually a threat to him, which him being a robot, like, Rico's been the only one in danger up until this point because she's a human. He's a robot. Nothing's going to kill him. But now we actually have something that can and will not hesitate to kill him. And this fight, like, is actually more terrifying than the Ozen one, because at least Ozen, you could kind of tell, like, she was just playing it up. You know, it's like she wasn't actually going to kill these children. But now we're fighting like an actual wild animal. It's unpredictable, it's powerful, and it gets Rico. It stabs her in the hand. And now, in order to get to safety, he has to go up to one of the higher levels. But if he does that, that's going to hurt Rico. It's going to hit her with the curse. And this is the layer where the curse actually starts to affect you a little bit more. Basically what happens when you're on this layer and you ascend, you start to bleed out of every orifice in your body. Your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, your ass, your fucking genitals, your fucking fingernail. Like, blood is coming out of every single part of your body. Just bleeding everywhere. You are a red paste after that. And with her already being poisoned, like, this part is easily the most, like, fucking painful part of this season. And I was able to handle it, but not without cringing, because it's like, he basically... Yeah, I was... Go ahead. Yeah, I was actually, like, kind of like, oh, no, stop. When I was going through this blind, I actually thought Rico was gonna die, because... he poisons her. And then he decides, okay, it's better for her to get cursed than to die. So I'm going to get her to safety so he can't kill her. He jumps up to the island above them, and she gets hit with the curse. And now she's hallucinating, bleeding from every orifice in her body. And her arm, because of the curse hit them so hard, her arm has, like, swollen up to, like, Popeye levels of, like, fucking large. And so he's freaking out. He doesn't know what to do because he doesn't know anything about the Abyss. He's lost his memories. Rico has all the knowledge. She has the know-how. She studied it extensively. So he doesn't know what to do. And she tells him... Sorry. He's basically lost, and, like, he has nowhere to go at all. Like, but then like a Deus Ex Machina happens. Well, we'll get to that in a second. What I was gonna say is... I'm sorry. She basically tells him, like, cut off my arm, because she doesn't want the poison to get to her body. And so he's like, well, like, he's prepared to do it at the joint, and then she's like, no, cut it out the bone, because she wants to continue adventuring. She doesn't want to lose half of an arm. She wants to continue, she wants to keep it as intact as she can so that she can proceed on her adventure, because Rico is insane. She values adventuring through this abyss way more than her own life. And so it's this really, really, like, painful scene where he breaks her arm, and then he starts cutting at it. He's trying to cut it off, and he's forced to hurt her, and she's in so much pain that she passes out. And then he thinks she's dead. He starts wailing and crying, and then out comes best character, the goat. Yup. Ma, there's a weird cat outside. Man, I don't want this cat's goofy. Why the fuck are you looking at me? That's a weird looking fucking cat. I don't want her startling Lucy. Isn't she a bunny? Yeah, that's the part of the joke. So this is Nanachi, the best part of the whole series. Nanachi lives in the Abyss and helps them. Apparently this character is non-binary, is the thing. Hold on, I got something. I gotta pick it up real quick. Yeah, she is easily the best character. She has got the most their pronouns are they, them, sir. Okay, they
are the most chill person, most laid back person in this entire anime.
They're the
and
best
manga.
part. They're honestly why I kept watching season 2. Is like and that's part of my problem with season 2. But we'll get into that. Like I said, Nanachi is adorable and really chill and just kind of embraces the abyss. And I think it's really funny because like once they start treating Rico, they're like they give Reg like a laundry list of shit to go collect, which again, fucking video game, like literally a quest in a video game, like go through the world, collect some stuff, and then come back to me, you know, like anyway. And then Reg does, he goes out, he collects a bunch of stuff, brings it back, and then a little bit of it was actual medicine, and then the rest of it was just food for Nanachi.
Yeah.
Nanachi's just like, I don't want to get all that shit. Go get it for me.
What a massive troll.
And so basically, like, from here, like, this is kind of like, I think, because there's a few more layers, I think, that they go through.
Yeah, the 5th and the 6th. We are on the 4th layer now.
Yeah, so the 5th and the 6th are the movie and season 2. So, yeah, this is the 4th layer now. And basically, like, this is finally when the series, like, slows down for a little bit. We're 4 layers in, and now we decide to slow down. Because now you get to kind of learn a little bit about Nanachi. You get to learn a little bit about the Abyss and how it works. Nanachi explains that, like, the Abyss is kind of like a veil, where, you know, if you pop the veil by going up too quick, again, like the bends, that's how the curse gets you. You have to rise up slowly if you want to bypass getting hit with the curse.
Basically have to tiptoe.
And then we also kind of learn a little bit about Nanachi and Nanachi's past and what goes on with them. Basically, they used to live on the surface as a normal human being, but they were an orphan as well. And as you know, the White Whistles took advantage of orphans. They gave them a home, and Nanachi was, you know, found this one person named Mitty, and they became friends. They were totally just friends. There's nothing more than that. They were just friends.
Yeah, definitely not friends at all.
Just friends.
Lesbians.
And, you know, it's cute. You know, you kind of feel bad for Nanachi because Nanachi was picked on a lot when they were a kid.
Yeah, I'm starting to, like, kind of realize that there's no such thing as a parent in Made in Abyss besides
Liza.
Besides Rico's mom.
Yeah, Liza. Let me post what Nanachi looked like as a human. They were kind of adorable. They were kind of scrunkly.
I just found a GIF, but I can't post it yet.
So basically, like, Nanachi is picked on a lot by the other kids, and Bondrewd, this fucking cool he kind of looks like the Dead Space guy, Isaac from Dead Space.
Yeah. But he is so, yeah, like, he has more like a kind of Victorian, like late Victorian get up and like, a Dead Space mask.
Like a mix of Dead Space and Bloodborne type look.
Yeah.
And he dripped the fuck out. Oh my god. Post the one of him in the chair. So Bondrewd is the part I was really, really excited to get to, because this guy is, God, he is one of the best villains ever made. He actually, like, kind of makes me appreciate this series, even despite my issues with it. He makes it worth it. He was absolutely the peak.
Unbelievably funny.
So basically, he was taking in all these kids under the impression that they would be helpful to him, when actually what he was going to do to them is experiment and test the effects of the Abyss, learn how it works, study it, do some research, and unfortunately, Mitty and Nanachi got caught up in that. They were taken to this chamber, and they used this device that they built to lower both of them into the into the next layer below. This is layer 5 that they're on, by the way. Into the top of layer 6. Bring them back up and see what happens and try to perfect a way to try to mitigate the curse. And unfortunately, Nanachi is the first successful attempt of this experiment. But Mitty had to be sacrificed in order for it to work, because all of the curse went to Mitty and only a little bit of it went to Nanachi. And that's why Nanachi came out looking like a furry, and Mitty, post Mitty, just so the viewers could see.
Oh no. Do I have to?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so Mitty just becomes a blob.
Do you know that blobfish meme?
Yeah, the blobfish meme. That is what... Actually, no, that's how the blobfish works. It gets ugly just because you reel it in too quickly.
This is actually so similar to just the ocean. It's like insane. There's so many parallels to just the ocean. It's the real life abyss.
Okay, yeah, no, I am not posting that one. I'll post this because it's funny.
It just starts chewing on Rico.
Okay,
so,
if you are wondering why I'm not posting any of the fucked up scenes, I don't want the YouTube overlords copyrights or not
over
my
channel. Yeah. So basically, what Bondrewd finds out is that Mitty is immortal now. Cannot die. He tries to kill Mitty over and over again, and it does not work. And Nanachi is just distraught at this, because this was a person that they cared about very, very deeply. And it makes you really, really feel bad for Nanachi. And so that's basically what's going on now, is that Nanachi explains all of this to Reg, and Reg has to, and Nanachi basically thinks like, hey, Reg, I think your like cannon ability might actually be the way to kill Mitty. Another, again, we compared it to Heavenly Delusion. I'm gonna do it again. I'll fucking do it again, because that is so similar to the concept of Hiriko. Hello, chat.
I'm sorry.
Hop on Among Us.
Hop on Lethal Company.
Okay. So, but as I was saying, so basically Reg agrees to kill Mitty, but in return, because now that they've spent some time here, they've grown kind of attached to Nanachi, which is another thing, like, you get attached to Nanachi real quick. It's so easy to get attached to Nanachi, considering how likable they are. But yeah, like, basically, he has to kill Mitty, but in return, Nanachi cannot kill themselves, because Nanachi really wants to. They're suffering with guilt because they've had to help Bondrewd in his experiments out of fear. So they've contributed to the suffering of other victims. What do you think about Nanachi?
I love her. I think, like, the Japanese voice actress really does help a lot, because she just sounds like this, and then she also does like these like little noises that goes like, nah.
Yeah, anytime. So Nanachi is probably the most autistic character of this whole thing, because like down to the fact that sensory overload, they hate being touched. Like Reg repeatedly tries to hug Nanachi and be affectionate towards them, and they always push him away and are like, oh, get the fuck away from me. They're adorable. Excuse me.
I love this gift so much.
It's so good. And so that's pretty much season 1, right? Like, there's not much else to it beyond that. Basically, after this exchange, Nanachi's like, okay, you guys are gonna need someone who has like inside knowledge of the abyss, and isn't just going based off of research. So you got Rico, the strategic one, Nanachi, the one that is familiar with the environment, and now you've got Reg, like the fighter.
The tank?
The fighter. But yeah, the tank.
Ah, you're friends? Which are you?
Drug freak, crazy ass Bondrewd. The fighter. So, now we're moving to the 5th layer, which is my favorite one. It looks like it's like a winter wonderland, like a cold, despondent. Okay, basically, the next part is the movie. They do like 2 crappy recap movies that are not worth shit, and then they do a third movie, Dawn of the Deep Soul, which is continuing the story. And this is very confusing for a lot of people jumping into this because they think you jump from season 1 straight to season 2. I guess I should ask you, how did you feel overall about season 1?
Okay, hold on, give me a minute. Okay, I did like the first 3 episodes because they're just cute little slices of life. I felt like the other like 4 to episode 4 or until they get to the 4th layer, the pacing was just off.
Yeah, it was too
fast. What was in it was good. Even though I love Ozen, even though I love the whole thing with like Rico having to overcome the 3rd layer, these parts are good. I just feel like they could also benefit from being a little bit longer, a little bit more fleshed out. Yeah, and also I'm gonna be real with you. The 3rd layer kind of sucks. It's just a big hole. It's a big hole.
Yeah, the pirate ship was probably the most interesting part of that whole thing.
Hole.
It's like the weakest world building in the entire season, to be honest.
Like, it had like a good idea. Execution, though, no.
Yeah, very weak compared to like the rest of it. But that's neither here nor there. I think they're fine for what they are. I just think that they could have been explored a little more in depth.
Okay.
Shit, we've already been.
Okay, I felt like the pacing was really good once they got to the 4th layer, even though I do think that is the ultimate turning point for the tone of the series.
Yeah, so I think by the end, I actually really like the end of this season. The Nachi's backstory and the all that shit. Even Rico getting tortured. Because as disturbing as it is, as uncomfortable as it is effective in doing so. I actually did, like, my hairs were, like, standing when that happened.
Like, I was sweating. I was sweating.
I was very, very nervous. And it's almost kind of an adrenaline rush. But it is very, very good. Especially, and I love that we get, like, an hour-long finale. Oh my god. Made in Abyss, if there's anything, like about the Made in Abyss fandom you really gotta appreciate, the memes are fire. I fucking love Made in Abyss
especially Bondrude ones.
So now we could talk about the movie, which I think is the fucking peak of the whole thing. It's better than season 1 by a long shot.
It is probably the best. It is the best thing Made in Abyss has ever produced.
So
there is like one really bad scene, but we'll get to that.
There's one really bad scene, one out-of-pocket joke, but that's it. So we talked about how season 1 looks fantastic, but is still pales in comparison to the manga. Now that we have this as a movie, now that this is a movie, dude, like, oh my god, this is like Mappa could never, like, Wit Studio could never. This is the most gorgeous shit I have ever seen. This movie is insanely beautiful. Just this like one shot where they're just like looking over this green hill and you see the rest of layer 5 like just sprawling out for miles and miles. It's like almost jarringly good, right? Like you could tell it's a step up from the last season.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also mainly about Bondrude. It is only about Bondrude.
The best character. So basically, while they're still in the fifth layer, they're looking for a way to get to the 6th, but they come across this grass field that is filled with another really like cool and interesting but creepy monster that kills people and then not kills people, paralyzes people, and then uses their body as a host, and it like feeds itself to them to keep them alive, keep them from starving to death, so that it can continue to use them as a host. Which is a really morbid and fucked up, like, that is a horrible way to die.
Yeah.
And in the midst of this, one of Bondrewd's soldiers starts burning the forest down. Basically emphasizing his philosophy of these people are beyond saving, and it's better to just destroy all of it than to even bother stepping in. And what I love is that the green field is so gorgeous and so playful and so fun. It looks like such a great place. And then this morbid, fucked up thing happens. So from here, they descend, and also, I guess, while I'm commenting on this layer, Reg gets a superpower out of nowhere. Like, he can, like...
Yeah, he can, like, kind of, like, twist his arm.
No,
right?
I'm talking about his eye. Like, he can...
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's right.
He can do zoom vision. He gets it out of nowhere. That was never elaborated on. But anyway. So the fifth layer, fourth layer... It's so playful and fun, but it's so fucked up. So then, from here, they descend down into the fifth layer, which is cold and despondent, and there's snow and ice, and everything is so dead and isolated and lonely. And you know what they do?
Yeah. What?
They cook some food. They find this weird, gross, blobbish thing, and they cook some food. And I think that tonal juxtaposition is interesting, where they go from an area that is very, like, beautiful and very, like, warm and serene, and it is fucking horrifying and brutal. And then they go down to the next layer, which is cold and despondent, and they find that it's actually pretty nice. They find some good food that looks disgusting, but they eat it and they actually really like it.
Damn bitch, you eat this?
Yeah, that's Nanachi. I love the running joke that Nanachi is a terrible cook.
I mean, she doesn't have much options, so...
Their pronouns are they, them, sir.
Okay. They don't have much options.
Hey, girl. I mean, they.
I mean, what?
So once they go down into this cold realm, Nanachi is kind of freaking out because they're like, I know Bondrewd. Bondrewd's unpredictable. Bondrewd's evil. So they go into Bondrewd's lair, and he welcomes them with open arms, and he's so warm and kind. And that's the thing. Bondrewd is actually he's built up as this, like, cold-hearted badass. This, like,
this horrible monster that we saw in the first season.
I kill for a living. I kill children and I enjoy it. But actually, when they meet him, he's just really chill.
You seem chill.
You seem chill, HD trailer. He's really chill. And he's really nice to them. And I remember there was this part where, the interaction, like, Reg and Rico are both taken aback because they're like, what? He was not evil at all. What the fuck? Like, you were talking him up like he was some sort of evil-ass dictator.
You were talking about like he was literal Satan.
Like he was fucking Fire Lord Ozai out here, but instead what we got was just, like, Danny DeVito.
Oh my god, could you just imagine Bondrewd voiced by fucking Danny DeVito?
That would be peak. Apparently this does have a dub. I haven't seen it. I can't really speak for its quality. But it has one.
Yeah, Bondrewd just has a very elegant voice in the dub.
Okay, I'll have to... I'm not going to watch the whole thing dubbed, but I'll have to see what it is. But he everything's all peachy. They stay in a room. At one point Rico's stupid because she's like, I want to go up this staircase, but wait, I'm on the 5th layer. Oh well,
I'll can't just go up dumbass.
I'll just move up slowly. And then her she loses sense of direction, and she's like, okay, it's getting bad, maybe I should go back down. But wait, where's down? And then she gets hit with the abyss curse, and then they have this girl named Prushka. That
is Bondrewd's daughter. Well, adopted daughter.
Yeah, and she was a young girl who was taken in by Bondrewd, and it was the first time he took in a kid that he actually cared for. He was as fatherly to her as he possibly could. There was an out-of-pocket joke about him taking a bath with her that I thought was a little weird, but
yeah,
other than that, he was like a pretty good father to her. He pets her head all the time, fed her. She got hit with the curse. He built her back up again. You know, he got her through all of her trauma and hardships. And she's like very, very kind to Rico and Reg, and very defensive of Bondrewd. Basically, they learn that,
yeah, that's his daughter.
Yeah, kind of the scrungo. But, so basically, you know, everything's fine until Rico finds out that Reg has been taken and is being dismantled, which is what she was afraid of happening back when they were at the orphanage. And so that's the scene you were talking about where it gets very bad. I think this is actually the most uncomfortable it's gotten. I'm actually more uncomfortable by this than I am about any of the stuff in season 1, even the part where Rico gets her arm cut open.
Yeah.
Because he, like, they hook him up to this machine. He's wearing like nothing. His things.
And they take a urine sample.
Yeah, he's in so much pain he pees into the thing, and it's gross.
That was like the most out of pocket. That was the most out of pocket scene in that entire movie. But after that, peak.
Kind of, yeah, not really. But for the most part, yeah. So Rico and Prushka, they go into the laboratory and they're like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing? That's my friend." He's like, "It's a robot. I didn't know this was your friend. Like, it's a robot, dude. Like, I gotta dismantle it. It's interesting."
Wait, you can be friends with robots?
And so they escape, and then they quickly run out to the thing, and then Bondrewd chases after them, because, you know, it's Bondrewd. He's like, "I have to dismantle that robot." But now they don't like him. And so Rico, Reg, and Nanachi, all three work together to fight Bondrewd. And this part was so good. It was peak. Basically, like, they use strategy against Bondrewd, using the environment of the abyss against him to essentially trick him into falling into this underwater hole. And then Reg, once he's descended into the water, uses his like arm grapple things to pull him back up quickly so he can get hit with the curse. They basically use the curse
I guess we
him.
also forgot to mention, like, I guess Reg is kind of just immune to the effects of the abyss.
Well, he's a robot. I kind of assume people would already put 2 and 2 together.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's already clear from the get-go. Like, he can ascend in the abyss. None of the others can, because they're not robots like he is. But yeah, like, he uses his power against Bondrewd and hits him with that fucking big brain 4D chess move, and it was peak. It was awesome. It was one of the best fights the whole thing. And then it turns out that he didn't actually die.
Yeah, like, I think one of his soldiers just, like, gets his head, and then, like, he puts it back. Okay, he puts Bondrewd's helmet over his head, and then, like, transforms into Bondrewd.
So Bondrewd has some sort of gem, some sort of like upgrade enhancement that works a little bit like a Horcrux, like the Voldemort thing from Harry Potter, where he can split his soul into multiple different bodies. So he just jumps from one body to another, basically. He's kind of impossible to kill. He's very, very fucking OP. And then from there, like, and it's kind of a conflicting moment because Prushka's basically watching these friends she just made fight her dad, and when he dies, even knowing the horrible thing he did to Reg, she still feels like sad, but it turns out he's not dead. And so from here, it's basically everyone versus Bondrewd, and they go to his lab, they fight, he destroys his lab. And I think Bondrewd's really interesting because every single time he takes in a victim, he goes through the liberty of remembering their names. He never forgets their names. And it's not like he takes enjoyment out of having to sacrifice all these children, having to do these horrible things. It's just that he values science over connection, over human life. He values science and the pursuit of knowledge more than anything else. He is the pure embodiment of everything that Rico has been, but Rico will always choose her loved ones over her pursuit of knowledge. He chooses knowledge over his loved ones, basically.
Oh my god, you want to know what, like, Bondrewd is sort of reminding me of? Go on ahead, but I'm going to get this comparison, okay?
Is it Griffith?
No, it is something that you're not going to expect.
What?
Just keep talking,
Okay, well, so basically, like, the only time he never gets mad, he's very cordial, he's very kind, he's very empathetic, and it's all genuine. Like, he does mean these things. It's just that he values knowledge over everything else to the point he's willing to make the necessary sacrifices. The only time you ever do see him get mad is when Reg destroys his lab. That's the only thing that ever makes him truly angry, is seeing Reg destroy his hard work.
Yeah, he gets, like, really mad. Like, oh, we also... Wait, was that when he went, like, kind of like berserk?
Yeah, he turns into a furry. He grows, like, furry arms. He starts fighting Reg, kicking his ass. It's the best fight in the whole thing. It's fucking awesome. And he fucking runs Reg's fade. But Reg also goes berserk because he, like you said, he basically eats his power line and absorbs all of the electricity that, like, makes the building work.
Yeah.
As this is going on, Rico kind of has to grapple with something she learns, because she basically learns that all of the white whistles and their weapons and everything that they use, all of it is powered by the lives of children. Meaning that, you know, especially the whistles themselves, it's all powered by the sacrifice of children, innocent children. And what they find out as well is that this new weapon he just created was made from Prushka. She got fucked up, put into a cartridge, and is now powering his abilities.
Yeah, basically a liquid.
She is a red paste. Literally the red paste meme.
Yeah.
And so it's a very heartfelt moment, very depressing moment. But she basically turns into a white whistle. And so Rico keeps this white whistle as like a memento. And it's like she has some sort of spiritual connection to it. Like she can hear its thoughts or something. Either way, after this fucking all-out fight between him and Reg loses, but he's like, you know what? I had a lot of fun, and you know what? We're cool. We Gucci. We cool.
I should probably mention this. Okay, so like in Dante's Inferno, like the fifth layer is also kind of like a separation point between like the hell a lot. So like after you get past the fifth layer, it is a lot worse, and it's basically the entrance to the sixth layer.
Yeah.
I probably should have mentioned that.
Yeah, much like this. And so he's like, you're Gucci. By the way, I made a fucking elevator that will just literally just take you down to the sixth layer without any trouble, without any issues. So good luck, and yeah, bye-bye. And he, oh shit. Well, the full image
weird
is cropped.
Comparison.
The full image is cropped.
Really?
I can't really see his head.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, once you started mentioning science, like, with Bondrewd, I don't know. It started reminding me of Shockwave from Transformers a bit.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, it's been so long since I've seen Transformers, I couldn't really tell you, but...
Shockwave is also a really funny guy.
Either way, God, his fucking design is so cool. So this takes us to the second layer, or the sixth layer, which is basically the bulk of season 2. This is kind of the last topic. We've been talking about this for a while now, and we're gonna kind of...
You're probably wondering, like, why this is a rant about Made in Abyss. Like, oh, they seem to enjoy it. They seem to enjoy it.
Up until now, I have really fucked with this pretty hard. Despite the weird shit. The peeing scene, the fucking naked string up scene.
Yeah, the really cringy scene at the fourth layer.
It went into weird territory, but it didn't feel like it was shoving it in your face constantly. But now that we've gotten to season 2, it's kind of like the
it's kind of it's kind of like that the writers or like the mangaka like saw the saw the reception to it, like, oh, this series is like really fucked up, and like, oh, so that's what the people want. Like, no,
I mean, yes and no.
no.
Like season 2 is far more dark and far more terrifying and far more fucked up than anything we've seen until this point, which is part of the point. The lower they get, the worse it's gonna get. But season 2 is also weird, and there's so much about it that works to make you uncomfortable, but also uncomfortable in like a nervous laughter kind of way, in a I can't really take this seriously kind of way, in a this is just scat porn kind of way.
Yeah, it's very okay. Like season 1, well, the movie sort of had that. So
Yeah, but it's like in season 1 and the movie, it's like, yeah, adventures and action and strategy, and there's like actually like an element of like, how do I survive in this abyss? Season 2, the 6th layer, everything slows down, which is fine. We find this city in the 6th layer that is filled with these weird creatures that they explain their laws like 100 times. It's like this equivalent exchange law of like, you give me something of equal value, I'll give you something of equal value. And I still don't really understand it. These people are weird. They look like Pokemon, but like...
Yeah, they look like really just like creepy Pokemon.
No, it's more like accurate to say they look like Pokemon breeding went a little bit too far. Like a Pokemon like Hicktown. There's this one pink thing that is caked up for no reason. And it's like, it's so hard to take seriously. It's so goofy, and it's kind of a drug trip of a season. And also, the characters split up. So, Reg goes on an adventure, Rico goes on an adventure, and Nanachi falls asleep for the whole season.
Yeah, it's like...
So that's
okay,
one of my...
so we finally got our main trio, and like they're all kind of separated.
One of my biggest the things about season 2 that I fucking despise is the fucking I talked in the Kermit voice first. The fucking Nanachi, my favorite character, is barely in it. And instead of like expanding on their character in any meaningful way, it's just that like they go back to sleep and they have a dream about Mitty, and that's it.
Yeah, like I feel I feel like she was supposed to be past Mitty after she died, but like no.
It doesn't say anything new about their relationship with Mitty. It's just, yeah, they just have a dream about continuing to live with Mitty, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Because well, it's not that it doesn't make any sense. It's just that it's getting tired. Like, we've already been past this.
Yeah, like she already had her character arc. Like, why do we need this?
So, I don't even know where to start. Basically, like, this series opens with a rape scene, because it's not just the present with Rico, Nanachi, and Reg. It's also this flashback with this girl named Vueko, and she's like part of this crew that's kind of like the Band of the Hawk, and they're from way back in the past, probably like a century before now. And they went
I think they helped establish the city like around the abyss, if I remember correctly.
Thinking back on it, I can kind of consciously appreciate what he was kind of trying to go for, because I think the concept of going back and forth between the past and the present is interesting, but I think this season had too much on its plate to balance properly, so I think the pacing went a little bit stilted. I think the fucked up concepts he toys with here in some ways are interesting, and in some ways are really, really fucking stupid.
Oh my god. Like episode 7.
So let's start with just my biggest gripe and just get it out of the way. The thing that we both hate. The poop. Why do I have to see Rico poop? Why do I, and not just once, we have to see Rico poop twice.
Yeah, and then like there's like this weird like monster thing in the bathroom, and it's just no.
It's a tongue
no.
toilet. Yeah, like a fucking tongue toilet. And it's like, whenever Made in Abyss fans, whenever I say, like, this is fucking weird, you have to at least admit this is weird. Made in Abyss fans are like, well, it's supposed to be weird. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable.
I don't care.
And it's
this
like, all I
is
can think
extra
about is
weird.
Like, okay, I get why that can justify seeing Rico get her arm fucking broken and torn up. I can see why that can justify, like, seeing Reg get dismantled by Bondrewd. I can see why that can justify, like, like about 90% of the dark shit from all the last, like, the movie and the first season, because it is supposed to invade your comfort zone. It is supposed to be uncomfortable. But why does that explain why we need to see... What is the thematic purpose? What is the actual reason we need to see Rico poop? It adds nothing to the series.
What is the thematic what is the thematic purpose of scat?
Well, okay. It's funny you say that. Basically, you got these four separate plot threads, but really just three going on at the same time. So, in the past, with Vueko, she was raped and abused by her mentor. She escapes. She joins this guild that goes on this adventure because she wants to be worth something. And they go to this abyss. They find these natives. They find this girl that they just abandon. And Vueko kind of relates to this little girl. The reason they abandoned this little girl didn't make a lot of sense to me because she's really, really young. And they're like, you can never bear a child. And so the poor little girl gets obsessed with the concept of bearing a child and having a child, even though she is way too young. Which itself is kind of tragic. And Vueko feels really, really bad for her. She feels really sorry for her. And they kind of confide in each other because they're both completely abandoned, completely hated by everyone. And they feel just this loneliness. And they have like a sister sort of dynamic. And as they travel into the abyss, they get closer and closer. And then... At the forefront of this crew, you have this guy. He looks a little bit like Askeladd, or he reminds me of Askeladd, named Wazukyan, and he might actually be my favorite part of season 2.
He's probably the only thing I like about season 2.
He was funny, but we'll get into him in a minute. Basically, the crew, they're trying to survive. They get all the way down to the... They get all the way down to the 6th layer, and they begin to realize something's not right. They start drinking the water, and their bodies start to contort and change, and they start to get really, really sick. They start to get diarrhea. And so, out of everything present up until now, you mentioned how is scat thematically purposeful. This is one of those cases where it kind of is, even if it is gut-wrenching, because there's like once they start seeing the effects it has on your body, it's established that it leaves eggs in your stool. And so once they find that out, really the only part I thought was unnecessary is her fucking picking it up with her hand.
You just reminded me of that.
But it's like out of every, like that I can at least understand because it's showing you the effects of the disease. It's showing you how bad it actually is, how horrible it gets. So that's like, okay, as disgusting as it is, I get it, But like, why do we need to see Rico poop? Why do we need to hear her farting? Because they put in like a fart sound effect, and it, and in the manga, the little SFX was like Lolly struggling to poop quietly. So this series goes into some pretty fucking awful places, and I don't even mean because like obviously, like I said, it opens with a rape scene, right? Like it literally opens with Vueko getting fucked, and that bothers me less than the Rico pooping.
I don't know if I got anything to say. I'm just grossed out.
It was really funny because the backstory part is actually the most awful part of this whole season. Basically, like once everybody starts getting hit with this affliction, Wazukyan, he like finds this egg, this golden egg. He gives it to the little girl Vueco's forming a bond with. I think, what was their name?
Mitty? No, it's not. No, that's. Dang it, I cannot remember.
Could you look it up real quick?
Hold on. Yeah, made
anyway,
abyss.
So it's kind of like he finds this Bailet, this like golden egg that can grant the wish of someone innocent, and he gives it to her, and basically he basically tries to talk Vueco into like, hey, this egg could help us. Like it could stop this curse that's happening to everybody. It could heal us from this sickness, but an adult cannot use it. You cannot use it. Only an innocent child can use it. So give it to that little girl and have her wish for us to be saved from this curse.
Oh yeah, Irimui, wasn't it?
Irimui or something. Yeah, something fucking hard to say like that. So Vueco gives Irimui the egg and tells her, hey, wish for this curse to stop, but it doesn't. And Vueco thinks she's about to get hit with the curse and passes out. And then she wakes up because somebody was feeding her something. Basically what happened is that Irimui's wish with this egg became a little bit distorted because she kind of wished for two things at the same time. She wished for the party to be, cured from the sickness, but she also wished to bear the child that she never had because, like we had established, her village kind of gaslit her into thinking that's what she wants. All she knows is that she was rejected by her people because she couldn't bear a child. And so being a young and naive child, she thinks she wants that. And so it gives her a child. It's like this little fucking fluffy,
like rabbit thing.
Yeah, rabbit, but it's like it's only got a hole for a head. And, and it died because its body don't work. And then she has another, and it died because its body don't work. And they all just kept dying over and over and over again. And so Wazakyan, being the Giga Chad he is,
he uses the babies and then cooks them to feed the village, and it's just
this whole stretch, like it was literally anytime anything gross happened, Salt just kept groaning in agony. And I need to explain this. The day we were gonna watch these episodes, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to watch Main Abyss with my best friend Gabe, and then these two episodes happened. And it kept getting like as I just described it.
And then you kept saying, "Oh wait, it gets worse."
Yeah, because it did. Every single time he was disgusted, I just kept repeatedly saying, "But wait, it gets worse," and it did every single time until the fucking peak of it, where it's revealed that the soup that he fed everybody was made from those baby corpses, and Vueco is so wrought with guilt now that like she kind of wants to kill herself, and he's like, no, you can't, because Irimui doesn't want you to. And so Vueco gets trapped down into this dark cellar with all these like goopy, not really a cellar, it's like a canyon with all these goopy black splotches, and Irimui, her body has pretty much morphed into this giant fucking like hollow tree.
Yeah, I think what's disturbing for me is like her body like starts turning into this tree thing, and she also has like a hole in her chest where the babies come from.
It does not feel like good horror. It feels like
disgusting.
You remember that Rick and Morty episode where there was this like magical kitty land that Rick made for his daughter, and a guy got trapped in there, and now he made like a whole place where he has to fuck his way to survival. That is the only thing I can describe that this feels like. That episode of Rick and Morty, people probably don't even know what I'm talking about. That is the only thing I could think of that describes this, where it's just...
What season was that?
It feels like... I think it was like season 3. It feels like watching Teletubbies on mushrooms. That's the only way I can describe it. I can't think of a better way to describe it.
I'm sorry, that caught me off guard.
I don't know a better way to put it into words. It gives me that same, like, it feels like Teletubbies but a horror movie. And it's not like a compelling type of horror. It's fucking bizarre, and nothing in it makes any sense. Because, like, everybody's like, oh, our god has arrived, and they all go into her body, and then they turn into fucking the fucking abominations that they become now, and that's how this whole city was made. And nobody really speaks good Japanese. They're all fucking weird. And there's, you know, now Rico, Reg, and Nanachi, they're getting to know this town. Like I said, Nanachi falls asleep and has a dream about Mitty, their gay lover. Rico ventures through the town, almost gets raped. The coins are all in CGI.
Yeah, and like some of these monsters too are in CGI. They're not people, they're monsters.
Was fucking ugly. Like, the monsters are so ugly. This is like...
And like the way they talked was so creepy.
Basically the crux of this is that they are being stalked by this person named Fapita, who is a character I really don't know how to feel about. Basically, Fapita, that Iramui, once her body had morphed into that, the child she wanted, came out. Finally.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like her, but it's kind of like this little, it's kind of like this little gremlin creature, little gremlin.
Yeah, she's kind of like a fucking obnoxious puppy. And she can be kind of funny sometimes, mainly
like with Reg.
Because like it's revealed that she knew Reg before he lost his memories, and she also had this big robot buddy who looks like the BioShock Big Daddy, and I like.
Yeah. I was gonna say that too. It felt like Fanta was like the little sister, and then like that robot was like the Big Daddy from BioShock.
Yeah. And so, like, looking back on all this, I'm like, on some level, I can consciously appreciate it. And it's like, I've seen it 2 times now, so it's like, I can almost get it, but it's like, I just can't. It's too much for me. So much of this is so off-puttingly jarring. Basically, Fapita is the villain of this season, and beats the shit out of Reg, and because Fapita, essentially the plot is that Fapita wants Reg to use his blaster to blow a hole into this barrier defense in the city that Rico is in order to go in and kill everyone as revenge for what they did to Iramui. That because
murder them all, gamer rage.
Because Fapita is the dying wish of Iramui, the cry out for revenge against all these people who took advantage of her innocence. Which is itself a compelling concept for the character, and also reinforces the whole Made in Abyss aspect. All 3 of our characters are made in Abyss. Reg, Rico, Nanachi, and now Fapita is made in Abyss, was born in the Abyss. And, you know, I mean, it's not like I hate Fapita's design. I think she looks interesting. But it's like...
Her character is, I don't know how to describe it.
Fun to watch, but not particularly compelling, in my opinion. Like...
Yeah.
I get the concept. I think the concept is more interesting than the execution itself, because there were a lot of points where I just kind of zoned out watching this, and I felt kind of bored. And I do think maybe it's also getting used to the fact that now we're not zipping through layers anymore. Now we're actually staying in one for the full season. But I also think it's because the season has too much going on to the point where the pacing feels stilted. Because one thread will be going like a mile a minute, oh, this crazy shit just won't stop. And then this other one, it's really, really slow. Like, Rico,
yeah, I think the problem with this season is just like the series isn't done at all, and this took like 7 years for season 2. Am I right?
All around like 5, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, 5. No, it was 5 years. It was 5 years around this time, and like May and Abyss got popular, and now the mangaka can like make a chapter whenever he wants.
Yeah, he can pretty much put it on hiatus whenever he wants, and I'm very fucking convinced he's gonna die before he ever finishes this, because he has not been releasing chapters like at all.
Yeah.
I think it is safe to say maybe I'm like a fan of this, but it's like the concepts of season 2 are just, it's so all over the place. Even describing it's difficult. Essentially what happens is that Reg basically says, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let you kill all these people. But then they get attacked by monsters. These like super powerful giraffe monsters that can shoot laser beams. So he tries to kill one, and he accidentally opens the barrier. And so Fapata comes in ready to kill everybody. Reg tries to stop her. She beats his ass. The giant robot tries to stop her. She beats his ass too, and then regrets it because she just hurt her friend. And then the giraffes start killing everybody.
Okay, yeah, that's something I gotta mention about this. Okay, the wildlife in this season was like one of my favorites because like it felt like the mangaka was actually being a little bit more creative with the layers right now because we've been like skimming through these layers and I'm like, oh hey, this one's a little bit more fleshed out, and like also but they're also like, even though they're wild animals, they just feel evil.
I think that's the thing, is every single concept in this series gets a little bit of time, and then we just move on. And nothing ever gets fully fleshed out, because he's handling so many different things at the same time, and he can't balance it all, and it's constant. Even in this season, when we're finally focusing on one layer all season, he then goes back to the past with all these other characters, and none of them get fleshed out the way they need to be. Nothing in the present gets fleshed out the way it needs to be. Nothing feels fleshed out in this. It feels like Fapata or whatever the fuck and Vueko are the only characters that actually feel like finished characters.
Okay, yeah, actually, this is the one thing I hate about this season, is like the main trio is just separated for most of it. Like, yeah. I think that's like what the driving force of the first season was, is like, oh, Rico and Reg going through the abyss together. Oh, then the Nachi's here. I'm like, then like season 2 is going to be great because now we have all our trio together. It's no,
they're split up, and it only got goated at the end when like
everybody was working together.
When Nanachi showed up, and everybody was working together. And then they just kind of kill off all the characters I started to get interested in. Like Wazakyan, I don't even know how the fuck he died. He just fucking fell because he's a weird.
He kind of opened that cocoon thing that he turned into and then just died.
Yeah, he just Thanos snapped away. Vueko goes up a staircase and then gets hit with the curse. Vueko's death was actually crushing for me because throughout this whole thing I felt really, really bad for Vueko.
Honestly, like Waco's death really pissed me off specifically because like nothing good ever happened to her like throughout this entire season. Like we've just been seeing her suffering.
She was easily the most compelling character of this entire thing, and she never got to experience like a single moment of happiness.
It's just like I didn't feel like her death was all that deserved. Like, yeah, it's sad, but like.
Yeah, it does. Like, it does kind of emphasize the sort of torture porn angle this whole thing's been written from.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It's like conceptually, I can understand the reason season 2 is the way that it is now. I'm not as like annoyed by it as I was in the first season. Essentially, Vueko, once she gets hit with the curse, she gets carried over to Fapata. She has a final conversation with Fapata that allows Fapata to forgive the people. This, as well as the fact that when Fapata had to fight those monsters that were invading the city, at first she was upset because it's like, I'm supposed to be the one to kill them. That's my purpose. That's why I was born. And so they like are like, save us, and they start feeding themselves to her, which was really weird.
Yeah.
And then she gets a power-up, she stops the monsters, and she learns to forgive them. And finally,
she basically achieved her goal, but didn't want it at the end. If you really think about it.
Well, yeah, because I think it is compelling because it's like she had learned that her happiness did not come from pursuing the revenge that she was born to pursue. Her whole existence was based around revenge, and she learned that there was actually more to life than that. It was the memories that she had with Reg and the robot guy who unfortunately died too, rest in peace.
Yeah.
That was what gave her life meaning, not her mother's final wish. And so that was like a very compelling, and by the way, even though they go their separate ways at the end of this season, she actually comes right back the next chapter, and is like, hey, can I like join your party? I'm sorry. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to join you guys. And so she becomes a new party member. And yeah. I don't mind that so much. It's just her characterization does feel weaker than the others. Like, I'm not as attached to her as I am the others, even though I can consciously understand, like, the reason behind her existence as a character.
Honestly, Fapta feels more like a wild animal compared to, like, the other trio.
For the record, if Made in Abyss fans really want to get upset that I'm, like, so hard on this series for the weird pedo shit, you guys realize you look like clowns, because the author has sold a perfume that apparently smells like Fapita's butt.
Huh? Oh my god, I freaking forgot about that.
That is a real thing that exists. You can look it up.
I'm not posting it in the chat because YouTube overlords.
I'm not looking that up. I don't even want that in my history. But it's real. It is real. And that is a real thing. There is no excuse for this manga. You can't make an excuse for this manga. Okay? I'll agree that there is an intentionality to the writing. It's a very well thought out series. He does very good with the world building. The characters are interesting. I think unfortunately part of it is that its pacing is really dulled down because it's taking on way more than it can handle. And I think because of that, we have to skip through a bunch of concepts and zip past a bunch of things in order to establish everything. So he fleshes it out just enough that you understand it, but it doesn't really get much in the way of depth, in my opinion. So it's pretty much just concepts. And that, in my opinion, I think is what kind of holds it back for me. In terms of dark fantasy, there's definitely other better series you could latch on to.
Like Berserk, maybe?
Okay, look, I know I'm the Berserk dick writer, but like for once I'm trying not to. I'm trying so hard not
sorry.
To be. Like the series called Claymore, it's pretty chill, pretty swag. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't really have much else to say. We didn't really talk about the part where Rico kind of popped off and saved the village from like a monster attack.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool, and then that got followed up by the backstory to the Wazakyan and all that shit.
Oh god!
So it was like immediately ruined it.
Oh yeah, we also didn't mention like Reg's new power up.
Which one was it? I forgot.
The like one where his like armor turns white.
Right? Yeah, he basically becomes fucking like Ultra Instinct Reg.
Yeah.
Fucking bizarre. But I don't know. This has gone on long enough. I don't really have much else to say about this.
Yeah, I honestly, I think just because like I saw this like maybe a year ago, I don't really have much to say either. But like the stuff that did stand out, and I really wish it didn't.
The fact that it has been a year and you can still remember it, I think, is kind of a sign of something good. It is a very memorable series. It is like you're not gonna forget about this.
No, it is ingrained in your memory.
But unfortunately, as a consequence of that, it loses its rewatch value because upon rewatch, I got nothing out of it. I didn't get a better understanding of anything. I didn't pick up on anything. Like there's no like, nothing about this series feels particularly subtle. So I don't know. It's not something I would revisit, and I don't ever want to revisit it again.
Yeah, I'm not revisiting it after those scenes. Like, I like fucked up shit, okay? I think fucked up shit has its place in media. It It is necessary for some stories, but there is a line that you have to draw.
I mean, I have the stance that Heavenly Delusion is like leagues better than this. Like a whole other fucking stratosphere better than this. I don't know how you feel about like.
No. Yes, I agree with that. It is leagues better. It is not as out of pocket as this.
So I don't know. Like, I don't know. Clearly I'm gonna watch season 3. I mean, I kind of have to now because we're too far into the abyss. We're in too deep. I complain about it, and I'm so ashamed to even be attached to this at all. But it's like, I want to see what happens. That at least is enough. But I feel like in terms of writing, it is not the fucking legendary, like, amazing masterpiece that people make it out to be. I really don't.
I feel like it would have had potential to become the masterpiece people praise it as. Yeah, the first season like was a little rushed in areas, like with its pacing, but like I feel like if season 2 wasn't like the way it was, I feel like it had the road to become that. Or this is like a kind of a tripping point.
Like part
and
of
then
it
it's gonna
is
get good
if
again.
it were like aesthetically consistent, maybe that would help. But also,
yeah,
it just keeps rushing through things. Even in season 2, when it shouldn't be, it still keeps rushing through things because there's just too much. And that's the main problem, is that there's just too much all the time. You're getting overloaded with information all the time. It's exhausting. So I think we're finally ready for ratings. So we'll rate them each individually, and then we'll rate the overall thing.
Okay. I think season 1. I'm kind of in between like a 6 and a 7. I think the movie is an 8. Season 2, 3 to 4.
Yeah, I don't want to be too hard on season 2, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, there are concepts
as much as I was
in here,
able to appreciate it, I still just hated especially visually, like it was much more flat and unappealing compared to the first season. So
actually, you want to know what was missing from season 2? The archaeology stuff. Like the first season had.
Yeah, like the way they would go into like how wildlife works is absent from season 2 as well, and that's part of
Yeah, and this has like the most variety of wildlife, even though like the wildlife is borderline evil in this. Like one of the giraffe monsters kills the other just because it could.
Yeah, so season 1, I think it's still a solid start to the whole thing. I give it kind of like a 7, maybe 7.5. The movie, honestly, a 9. I think they really killed it with the movie. I think in terms of, like,
I'm changing my rating. It's a 9. Yeah.
So I think like most anime should strive to be like the movie because they killed it. It is so damn good. And then for season 2, I think about the same. Like a 4 would probably be the overall rating. So I don't know. It seems like I kind of enjoyed more of it than I didn't enjoy. So I think the overall rating for me is somewhere at like a 7. Maybe like a 6.
Okay, I'm struggling between 6 and 7, so I'll just say 6.5.
Yeah, we'll just agree on a 6.5 and call it a day. I know that's going to upset some people, but this is just too much for me. And it's not at all because of how like gory or its depiction of rape or anything. It's because of the blatant scat fetish. That's kind of the main thing that bothers me. And just some of the pacing, some of the characterization's a little bit flat and weak. There's some concepts that it kind of fixates on that I just don't think are all that compelling or interesting. Overall, great, great idea, but not something that sticks with me long term. The only reason it even stuck with me long term at all is because it's gonna be forever until this is done. Like we get a new season like every fucking millennia. But yeah, I'd recommend it, but don't ever rewatch it, and don't eat while you watch it. Don't watch it with friends.
Not eat while you're watching it. Do not eat at episodes 7 and 8. Do not eat those ones.
Yeah, so
Of season 2, I mean.
Yeah, so that pretty much does it for this video. I'm ready to cut the recording.
Yeah.